the first thing Indian would export from the country is caste system. My exam admit card had my caste written on it. Why would you need that? Until I was drunk one time on a stage, and I was just started talking to them. So India does have like two different country. One is like like extremely rich. Like the Indian rich people over here doesn't understand the rich people live way better life than the rich in America or Canada. They can't even imagine how luxurious their life is there back home. And it is so funny how uncomfortable these people are. But still they're laughing, you know?
Hey guys, how's it going? Mike's here. We have another great episode for you. Today I'm talking to Manjeet Sarkar, who's an international comedian from India. I was so lucky that he was in the town as part of his world tour, so we arranged this interview for you. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Check out the description box for all the links, and see you on the other side. Oof, it's so hot.
I guess it's pretty cold for me because I come from India, you know. Yeah. This is like the coldest it gets here.
Yeah, you did manage to see snow here. Yesterday was snowing.
Oh yeah, I love snow, but I started hating the Toronto weather. I guess I love snow when I'm there for like a vacation for 2-3 days. If it is too much, I don't like it. And I thought it was supposed to be spring here, so I didn't bring the winter jackets or anything.
Cool. So yeah, how are you liking your time in Canada? Is this your first time in Canada, or?
This is the third time. First time I went to Vancouver, beautiful place. I went to the UBC, and it was great there. But I like Toronto better, I guess. In terms of beautiful and all, beautiful British Columbia. Of course, it's amazingly beautiful. But somehow something about Toronto, you know, like how mixed racial and like the diversity is unmatchable. You don't go to any other place in the world and see this kind of diversity. I think it has their own perks and I don't know, but like I like.
Yeah, we actually have lots of Indians here.
Yep.
And yeah, so I don't know, when you talk to these people, do you feel the same discrimination that you would feel back in home?
Yeah. So the guy whom we look up to the most, his name is Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, and he's one of the guy who fought for us. We have rights and all kind of rights because of him, you know. So he wrote the Constitution for India, right? So he had written in his book that the first thing Indian would export from the country is caste system.
So yeah, I hear that from all the Indian immigrants who like, I escaped the whole caste system in, I don't know, India, only to like get treated again by the same people in different countries. Like, I can't even escape this. So, oh, by the way, I got my braces yesterday, so my mouth is just like relearning everything. And yeah, just have to bear with me. But I was just thinking on the way here that like I have these braces on and it just like jumps out on you. So like when you're a Dalit, like when you're like untouchable, like what is it about a Dalit person that just jumps out on you that like you immediately know that that person is a Dalit? Like if you're an upper caste, like is it your surname, your color of skin, the way you talk, walk? What is it?
Couple of things. A lot of aspect comes here. You know, it's like a radar kind of thing. They have their a caste radar kind of thing. So I'll tell you, the basic thing is, of course, the surname, right? The surname is given in India just to determine your caste thing. And the second is skin color plays a big important role. Like most of this Dalits come from the darker skin color side. So there is a theory of Aryan and Dravidian theory. Is it completely true? I don't know, but it seems like to be true. Like the Aryans are the one who are upper caste and all this thing. The Dravidians are the indigenous people in India who are the Dalits, right? So that skin color plays a part. On top of it, the class plays a part. The most of like in India, when you see a poor person, like extremely poor, there is 90% chance he belongs to the lower caste. All the slums, if you go to, you won't find a upper caste guy in the slum. All the people who are suffering, all the people who are doing the dirty laundry, all the people who are doing the cleaning the sewer, manual scavenging, cleaning toilet, all this thing, they are Dalits because like the systemic oppression happened in a way that all the lands from the indigenous people were snatched by these people, so they don't have any land. They were taken the land and let them take debt from them. So you ended up becoming one of their servant, and that continued for generation. So mentally you became
Just
like a
pay the debt.
yes.
Okay.
So the servant thing, as like it's continued for so many generation, you mentally you feel that you don't belong to be in a better place, like how, as I mentioned, Ambedkar has already mentioned that how mentally being slaved is way worse than like literally being slaved, because these are the same people who were being slaved for so many generations by the upper caste people. Now they don't feel like self-worth anymore, they don't have that kind of
Yeah,
feel.
of course. And well, to be honest with you, like as someone in his 20s who's living in Canada, like I learned about caste system like 2 weeks ago, thanks to you. And so I'm still in shock. Like I mean, like if it was like 1800, sure, like there was a system of slavery and like oppression and all of that. But I just cannot understand how this is happening in 2025, in the sense that like why, like if you're if you're an untouchable person, like I don't know, like no one's I guess you're not in a prison or something. Why don't you just like move to another city and like get a new name and new identity and just like start from scratch?
So first thing first, you can't just get a new name. In India, when you go anywhere, the first thing they would ask is your surname. I shit you not. My admit card in my college, my exam admit card had my caste written on it. Why would you need that? Like I would.
I'm not sure if I should be laughing, but
it's funny, right? You should be laughing. It's true. I look for the admit card picture. If I find it, I'll send it to you. You can put it at it.
Yeah.
Why a exam admit card would need that, right? You can't escape it. Like you go to any if you are brown, you go to any Indian household, the first thing they will ask is your name. And if you tell your name like Manjeet, they'll like, and like complete the name, like until the surname is, if they don't find the surname, like they don't know, they don't get your caste from the surname, then they will be like, what is your caste directly, right?
Yeah.
So like you are not allowed in temples. Doesn't matter if you're Hindu or not. If you don't belong to a certain caste group, you are not allowed in temple. You can't touch God. There's so many. Like one 7-year-old kid was beaten to death by his upper caste teacher because he drank from a water pot, the same water pot. Like how can you touch my water? Like you're not allowed to do that thing. So you can't escape caste in India, because they won't let you escape. Like you go to a different city, where will you go? Because the same whichever city you go to, they will ask you for the surname and your caste. So there's no change whatsoever. The only way to escape, I guess, is not interacting with them, and you can't not interacting with them because the classism and the capitalism comes in, because they control the whole India. Like despite being so less in numbers, the entire country is run by them. Like let's give you an example of media. 99% media, like all employees in media, belongs to upper caste people. So how will they represent? Like they will tell stories of Dalits. Like in Hindi news channel, 95% belongs to upper caste. And like so when it comes to all the news related to Dalit atrocities, why would they talk about themselves? Like it's why would they talk about how horrible their people are doing? Because they benefit from that too. As you said that you did not know about caste living in Canada for so many years, because all your friends, all the people you see around you, all the browns from Desis, mostly belong to upper caste. The fact that they can come to this part of the world means they are privileged, and that privilege comes from money and caste, right? So most of them are upper caste. Why will they come here and be like, hey guys, guess what, we are oppressing people back home? So you guys should know that. No, they would not. They want to hide it. Like from the independence of India, all the people who have been representing India belong to upper caste people, and still now they've been getting benefit from the caste system. So what makes anyone think that they will come out of India and be like, hey guys, still there. We still doing this thing. Manual scavenging. People are dying every day. There are like some 5 atrocities against Dalit, but you guys don't know because we are pretty clean with that shit. I know. Yeah, it's pretty like UN. I'm not sharing. Like I Google like I'm for my next project, film project. I was googling what are the marginalized community considered in India, like globally and all, right? I see like UN, and I performed in UN, so I know a bunch of people there. So I was looking all the website, and I see that okay, LGBT community, Black, indigenous people, all these things, Muslims, all of no caste or atrociously of caste biased discrimination which has been going for a century. And then I was like, I looked for all the employees who works in UN from India, all upper caste. What am I expecting? I texted one of my Japanese friend who works there, who I met because of the event, and I was like, I'll look into it. I'm like, what will you look into? 3,000 years.
Yeah. I have to say, when I learned about the caste system, like so many things just clicked for me about India. Like, I think it was you who mentioned this. I think you were saying this in one of your comedy sets that like India is kind of like 2 countries in one. One is like the rich people, like these large cities, and then this like the rest of the country.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that totally makes sense. Like when I watch a Bollywood movie or something, it's just like this beautiful life, cheesy comedy and stuff like that. But then like I go on Instagram and it's just like people like putting a video from like India, and it's just like always like streets and like rats running around, and like they have a joke about like the street foods in India, and it's just like, and I was like, that totally makes sense. It's like 2 different countries.
Yeah, so so that video is different. So India does have like 2 different country. One is like like extremely rich. Like the Indian rich people over here doesn't understand the rich people live way better life than the rich in America or Canada. They can't even imagine how luxurious their life is there back home. So
Yeah.
but the people who are like 80% of people who are not rich and who belongs to the rural India, they live a different life. And but the problem is this 20% people look down on the 80% people so much. On top of it, they do not like consider them a part of their own eco circle, like the kind of problem these people talk about. It is all about them. They want everything for them. They don't even consider the rest of people, because like somehow the entitlement I guess we borrowed, all the rich people in India borrowed the entitlement from North Americans, I guess. So they just have it, so they feel the entire world revolves around them, so they deserve everything better. But like about the video, what it is there on social media, I feel that there is one thing like in North America which is going on. There's like there's a new trend of hating, like Indian are the most hated group right now, right? So all the videos that you saw are like there's certain places where everybody avoids going, right? Even nobody eats there. But like those are the videos which get popular because this part of the world want to watch those videos.
Exactly. Yeah.
In village where I come from, we don't go to hotel, we don't go to restaurant. Till I guess till 18th of my 18-year-old, I never went to a restaurant or cafe or nothing, because we don't have it back there. Everything is fresh grown. Like we have our own field, we grow our paddy, we grow our own corn, we grow our vegetables, we have our own chicken and hens and all. So we don't go anywhere, like we eat fresh and all. So all the videos that you see are mostly from some part of slums and all, which is again a caste based thing. And that is getting more and more viral because of it is easy to hate India. But like the fact that exists is again a testimonial to the caste. Like when you see the contrast to somebody like in India, there is Taj Hotel, which is one of the most expensive place in the entire world, and then the right next to it, like the same video that you were talking about, like the Antilla, which is the most expensive resident in the entire world, right next to the biggest slum, one of the biggest slum in the world. And the contrast is so like vivid, you know.
Yeah. You mentioned UN, so walk me through that day that you got the invitation from UN to perform there.
No, so first I got an email saying, oh, we want you to perform here. Also, like somebody's pranking, I guess. Why would they? So I literally thought somebody's pranking. But like the text again, the email again, like how much it will cost for you to come, all these things. And so I was like, this is cool, and I was a little bit like I don't speak English that well. I started speaking English like 2.5 years back. So I was a little concerned about that, like how would I perform in English and for an audience which is not India also, and I have to put all the content in a way that the references hit, and most of the people are rich and upper caste, so they won't know what caste system is because they want to avoid that shit. So I have to explain that in a way that my punchline lands, right? So the moment I got the invitation, I was like, okay, I have to start working on my set. I started working on my set. I told my parents about that thing. My parents didn't give a shit because they don't know what UN is, right? So then the day came when I had to go. First time I left India was for the UN. You know, I never left India.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, right. So like I come from a like that kind of village that if from my entire area nobody left India. I probably am the first one to do that. Like kind of my entire family, my entire village is happy that I speak English. they, like whenever I'm speaking to somebody in my phone when I'm in village, everybody is just surrounded by like, oh, they don't understand anything. They just want to hear. They feel proud and shit like that. So I go there and a little bit concerned, as in like I'm always a guy who is pretty much self-confident kind of guy. I love to feel like I'm the shit, you know. That I guess that helps me a lot in life. But around those time when I'm leaving India and coming to different part of the world, little bit like, okay, am I good enough kind of thing? The self-doubt kicks in kind of thing, right? So I go there and then and I was sharing stage with one of the best comedians around the world. So like there are other comedians from each country. There's a comedian who's been doing comedy for like 30 years in New Zealand. So they come, and then there's so many comedians who have like Netflix specials and things like that. So I was a little bit like, oh, I can't bomb, you know, I'm not allowed to bomb. I have to do good, and which I normally do good. I rarely bomb. I'm Indian. Uh, I don't do those things. But uh, yeah, so the moment I go on stage, I couldn't believe that I'm on stage, right? Like it's just like mixed race, all the ambassadors from different kind of countries and shit like that. And I go like, and I was like, okay, these people are important. These people are well educated. They would definitely know what caste is. And like, are you guys aware of the caste system? None of these fuckers, just poor white dudes are like, yeah, I heard of it. And all the brown Indian people are like this. Like they didn't want to acknowledge it. And then I was like, oh, let me see your name and all, and in all surname, let me see your surname, right? And all of them were upper-caste, so they would not acknowledge it. So like the best thing was like it was such a good show because I ended up making fun of you, and so that helped, you know. Like it was around the same time when the problems around the world was happening. I have to go to US, so I don't want to say the names, you know.
Yeah, that's a smart move. So you mentioned other comedians. How is your comedy perceived by other comedians, like the guy who's been doing comedy for 30 years in New Zealand?
Oh, they loved it. The fact is, like, they love it they love me outside India a lot. Like the comedians in India, they love me, of course. But outside India, they love me a lot. Somehow I feel because they get to hear something different, I guess. Because in India, you mostly listen when you hear a comedian. I feel most of them sound the same. Because their background, the culture they belong to, they're so India, comedy is the most expensive art form. Let's put it that way, right? You have to have crazy amount of money to keep pursuing it because you don't make money for like long enough. You have to keep doing open mics without getting paid for like years. You don't get books, and until you get famous enough, that you can get booked and they get really make money. Like that comes after like a decade or so. Unlike India or Canada, where like it is like the cheapest.
Yeah, we have like 50 clubs just around this neighborhood.
Yeah, so their clubs are there, but like it's expensive as hell. You can't just do it if you are not rich. So all the comedians, apart from me and couple of people, are like just rich people. So their story sounds the same to everybody. Like, oh my god, you know what? I was in this plane. It's like either cab driver experience or like Bumble or Tinder dates and all, like all this. And on the name of like dark comedy, they will do some sexist, rapist kind of fucking bullshit jokes and all. So like at the end of the day, I don't. It just this sounds the same to me, like all casteist jokes and all these things and all. So one of the reason why I feel that I stand out because I have a different story to tell. Like in comedy, I feel funny with interesting sells better because funny is Instagram reel is funny, TikTok is way funny, but like what makes you stand out that I'll buy tickets to come and watch you perform live, so that I guess is there in me. So that the comedians from I guess Canada or like outside India, they see that thing like, though this is something new and interesting that we did not know. Like I guess I'm here because there's a lot of comedians and people come to Toronto and you don't interview most of them.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Like if you're an Indian comic, there's like, certain stereotypes that you just can use to like write material. And it's just mostly like how international communities just perceive Indians, which is just mostly as immigrants and like, the stereotype of being brown and stuff. But you're talking about this like local thing that like nobody is aware of, like what is caste system, and you're also Indian, so this makes it really interesting, like a novel thing.
Yeah.
But I love that you mentioned that I want to feel like I'm the shit, and like given that just growing up as being Dalit person and like just all these people like punching down on you and you feel like inferior, just how do you escape that identity and like develop this new identity that I'm the shit, I'm equal if not better than you?
Yeah, I guess I was I had so much inferiority complex within me throughout my life that I gave up on it. Does that make sense? Like I gave up being an inferior guy, like like from childhood I felt like I want to, I liked attention, like I wanted to be a guy who get all the attention. I wanted to be famous and all this thing, but in school I ended up getting bullied. In college and everywhere the bully happened because of the caste, right? Like they would know my caste, and I had to change rooms in my college because the guy, my roommate, got to know about my surname and was like, we can't share the same room because I'm upper caste and shit like this. So I had to ended up changing room, and also those kind of things kept on hammering myself, like my confidence. I couldn't talk to people. I couldn't barely talk to girls and shit like that. Like how forget about famous and all. So the coping mechanism initially came as like to dress well. I thought if I would dress well and like baggy hip hop clothes and all, maybe that will help hiding my insecurities, right? But but the problem was I was way more like so much insecure that I was trying to hide it with clothes. Until I started doing comedy, and then comedy also the inferiority complex came because I didn't speak the Hindi. I had to learn Hindi first, and then I had to learn English also for comedy. And you're surrounded by people whom you only seen in television because these people are rich. I've never seen rich people in person. Now I'm surrounded by them. I'm sharing the same green room and all, so I can't even talk to them. So that inferiority complex kept on going until I suddenly realized the only thing that would let other people be interesting, like the other people would be like, oh, let me hear him out, is if I have that kind of confidence. I'm like, I'm better than you. Then they would get confused. How come this guy coming from village have some kind of like, he should have inferiority why is he talking as if he's better than me? So you get the attention of them, like, let me hear him out. Why is he so cocky? You don't even like I am way better than you, but why are you cocky? So that is like a shock for them to hear me. So that was a technique kind of thing, skill I was trying to use in on stand up to get attention. But like when I started doing it, I realized this is actually dope, and also I always felt there is something in me, so that kept on growing. And as much as I started doing shows and talking to people, knowing all the rich people and upper-caste people, I realized these people are full of shit, and it's just all money talk, right? But like I am definitely better than them, because the kind of things I come from, if they were in the same situation, they would never come from, could reach here. So automatically that makes me a fucking better person. I came to Canada, I'm doing North America tour, not on my dad's money. I made this shit by myself. I came from a rural Indian and like legit rural tribal village. Now I'm touring the world kind of shit. So
I mean, forget about the world tour. The fact to me, it's like the fact that you did open mic the first time, that definitely, as you said, is the proof that you had something in you. So yeah, tell me about your first open mic.
Oh, it was crazy. So I'll tell you, as I mentioned, during the fourth year in my college, I stopped going to college from first year itself because the bullies. I was like, I'll rather not. So I stopped going to, I stopped attending any class. So, and around that time, free internet was a thing in India. It was coming up. So I had a phone, a smartphone. I had free internet. What I was to do is like kept on watching random videos, like documentaries I love. So history I love. So I was watching civil rights movements documentary, and there was a video of Dave Chappelle came as a suggestion. He was talking about MLK, and the moment I watched it, and I did not understand English at that time, but something about him clicked me. Something about his persona, his aura, what was he was trying to say. Something was like, and I really wanted to do it. So I started Googling Indian stand-up comedian. I saw a couple of people are doing, and one guy particularly in India. So commentary and satire is not no, big thing. People very rarely people do. So one guy I saw, his name is Varun Grover, and he was talking about anti-government, anti-establishment thing, and that like, oh, I love it because I have so much things to say. Let me just try it maybe. But like all the other comedians were talking about their cute stories and all. So I think I didn't have much reference to talk about politics or like anti-establishment or like caste and all. But however, I just wanted to be on stage because I love the attention part of it. I used to live in tier 2-3 city where there is no open mic. In the entire state, where eastern part of the India, there was no open mic. There was only one open mic 300 kilometers from the place I used to live, and it used to happen once a month. So I started begging that guy, please give me 3 minute spot, please give me. And he ended up giving me a 3 minute spot on a day where I had an exam, a back paper exam, which means I had failed in the exam. I had to give that exam today. If I did not give, then I would fail again. I was like, fuck it, I want to do I want to be a comedian maybe. So I borrowed a bike. It was like peak summer in India. I took a motorcycle, and I went for like 300 kilometers. I ended up performing 3 minutes of set, and I bombed. I did horrible, but I felt good.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah. I'm also thinking about doing an open mic, maybe, I don't know, in winter next year. So I don't know, any suggestions, how can I prepare?
The more you go on stage, just don't care about the bombing. Go on stage. Comedy is the only art form where you can't practice or learn. There's no book to learn. There's no teacher can teach you, and you can't practice like, oh, alone I'll be going in front of a mirror and all. I don't think that works. The only way comedy can be practiced is in front of the audience. The best way every comedian would suggest you, write and keep on going on stage. You automatically will become like the craft. You will see a notice and you will read about the craft. The craft will take a couple of years. You will definitely learn the craft. It's just the stage presence and your voice, which will take years to build on stage. Like you get to know what you are about. Like, and best thing is about comedy is you can get to be yourself. That is the funniest. The moment you put on a mask and all, there's a lot of comedian does a character and all, so that's the difference. But like when you are yourself, you are being honest, and how do I say it? Like when you say what you want to say and you mean it, that is funnier. And yeah, the right and voice, you will get your voice later, like after years you get it. Once you get it, then that you become a genre kind of shit.
How long did it take for you to find your own voice?
I guess it took me 6 years.
Wow, 6 years.
Yeah, 5-6 years. So like I started doing comedy, and I started doing regular comedy, like, oh, I look at me, I look like this and all, like all self-deprecation jokes, which is I feel very horrible about. I guess no comedian from marginalized society should do self-deprecation joke, because the audience would not look at you at those self-deprecation joke. They would look at this, like the community behind you. They would laugh at them. So but I used to do that because that is my reference. Because I never seen somebody going on stage and talking about caste. Till now I haven't seen, other than me. So there is no reference I had. All my reference were like talk about the auto driver, talk about Bollywood movies, talk about songs and weird things around you, and observation comedy. So I used to do that. That was one of my stupid jokes were like, oh, I watched this DIE video, DYE, I don't know. What is that? Do it yourself video.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a,
DI,
yeah,
yes, sir. DI, why? I don't know.
yeah, I guess that was the funny part, is that you can't pronounce, but like how to make a toy out of waste food materials, and I did not have waste food materials, so I had to buy real things and use it enough to get waste, and so I can make that toy. Those kind of jokes I used to do, like the stupid things. Until I was drunk one time on a stage, and I was just started talking to them, and started talking, and on this bunch of people, and I told them about my village. And the when you talk about any of my story, I don't have to tell my caste. People will automatically get my caste because the upbringing, the kind of condition I come from, like they don't know it. So I started doing it. I started talking about caste. I was not killing that day, but like after this, after I came back from stage, backstage, I felt the happiest in my entire life. I never felt that high, that dopamine rush, and that the feeling as an artist. I can't explain until you would. I want everybody. I wish everyone in this planet could experience what I experienced that day. Like that, like the freeness. So I was like, this is me. This is me. I should not try to be this rich Mumbai Bollywood people kind of thing, that this pretentiousness, because I did not live their life. They're talking about flight. I took flight only once in my life, when I'm talking about the time I was talking to myself, like these people are talking about having maid. My mom worked as maid. I can't relate to them. I have to tell about my story. So, and then I started doing it, and I started feeling more and more free. And then,
yeah. I am very interested in knowing about your creative process and how you write material. So I guess my first question would be, when you're writing your jokes, who do you imagine as your audience?
So I normally, I don't imagine an audience mostly when I'm writing. I write for myself. If something is funny to me, I guess it is funny. It's something like it has to have an insight to it, and it is funny. So I'm not a writer comic. I'm more of a like, there are two kind of comic, right? Like there's a comedian you would see who are like proper writers. You can see they write line by line and they stick to it, which is like, good example would be Louis C.K. And there are comedians who write, but they're mostly is their persona. They write on stage. Uh, um they discover material on stage. They go on stage with thought, and then they develop their material by performing on stage. Good example is Patrice O'Neill from Boston, America. So I am
it takes a lot of balls, though. It's just like you go on stage and like figure it out.
I guess it is a personal comic to comic thing. I guess I love. I have so much respect for comedian who writes and stick to paper, because I can't do it. A lot of comedians would like my process. They think that my process is difficult, but like for me, the writing process is difficult because I don't have that attention or something like that. I can't just put that thing. So, and I enjoy doing not writing. Normally I write. It's not like I do not write. I have a structure. I know what to do, and then I go and I try to do free ball, because if I stick to the script, then I feel that I'm restricting myself. It feels that I'm not doing something new. I'll be just trying to stick to the so. When I'm going on stage with a thought, then it I can evolve like the thought with the audience. It's like a jam thingy. But what happens is like I have a thought with a punchline. A punchline is important, and then I go and then I start performing an open mic, and I get the joke. Like mm, America rejected my visa a couple of times. So my first thought came to my mind is, always Indians always take pride in their country, like India is the best country, India is the best country. Who would tell these North American countries that they're rejecting a citizen of the best country in the world? So that was the thought. And then it ended up having a better, like a whole joke towards it. Like, it has a pretext to it, and then there are post-text to it, and it has a whole set of 10 minutes now. But it started with that thought, that why these people are rejecting my visa if we are the best country in the world, you know?
Yeah. Okay. I have more questions about the creative process, but let's. So okay, so on Twitter, you're only following 3 comedians. Dave Chappelle, of course, Bill Burr, and Doug Stanhope.
Yes.
So in what ways did each one of these people influence you?
Doug Stanhope, Dave Chappelle, my entire style, my career is influenced by. I wouldn't be a comedian if Dave Chappelle was not a comedian. I would not even first of all, I would not take up a mic and become a stand-up comedian if Chappelle was not there. On top of it, the reference I could not get from my own country comedians, that you can talk about. You don't have to put down, like, you don't have to be underconfident that you come from a marginalized community, and you can actually call out the oppressors with a like gangster, with like a stylish, swaggish, whatever. Like, he's so confident when he speaks. The way he speaks, he doesn't speak in a way that other people will be like, oh, look, he's talking like a victim. He speaks as if you're calling out that you guys are the victim, because I'm gonna talk to you, and I'm gonna call out, which will make you the victim. So that approach I've never seen with any other comedian. Like, very rarely I've seen with like Patrice and all other comedian. Like, you don't see those kind of comedians, like, like personality in general, where they own themselves, and I loved him about it. I guess my own whole career I owe to him, mostly. And then comes Doug Stanhope. There was a time where I wanted to leave comedy, because it was extremely expensive. I did not have money. I was skipping lunch so that I could pay for the open mics. I could pay for the travel of the open mics and sustain and all. And I was definitely leaving it until I got this book called This Is Not Fame by Doug Stanhope. I read that book and it changed my life. I can never leave comedy in my entire life. Like, it's called This Is Not Fame, followed by Digging Up My Mother. So it's a pretty dark book, very funny. And later I watched his comedy, and my insight that I'm inspired by from my comedy is from Doug Stanhope. Like, I'll give you an example. One of his joke starts with, nationalism does nothing but teaches you how to hate somebody you have never met. So it tells you, well, how, like, the kind of philosophy this guy is, the same guy who would do the most fucked up shit jokes and like very dark joke, but the same guy would talk about nationalism, philosophy, like that. So, like, I am a fan of him. I don't know how much I can do justice as a comedian who is following him, but I'm literally a fan, like how amazingly good writer he is. So that's why him, because he I'm still doing comedy because of him. That's why. And Bill Burr is one of my favorite comedian. As an audience, as a comic, that's period, is one of my favorite comedian. I feel he himself is a genre. So this is one person because of Chappelle, because of whom I started doing comedy, Stanhope, because of whom I kept on doing comedy, and Bill Burr, I'm just a fan.
Yeah. I guess my top three would be Jimmy Carr, Theo Vaughn, and Conan O'Brien.
Hey, yeah, Conan.
Yeah,
Conan is a
I think
cutie.
he's great with like physical comedy.
Yeah.
Yes, he's so tall and like I don't know.
Yeah. Conan is a cutie. Look, Theo, I love Theo. Jimmy Carr, yeah. He was in Bangalore, India recently. He did a show. I had another show, but I really wanted to catch him up. Yeah, like, yeah. Did you notice all of them are white? He's a like white comic and one UK comic because he has accent, huh?
No, I mean, I don't know. His material is just so dark and like I don't know. I feel like he should be banned, you know.
Yeah.
But
No.
he's just amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, UK comic, I appreciate UK comic, but it took me a lot of time to start watching UK comic because of their thick accent. First of all, I learned English quite late. On top of it, you are throwing at me some weird accent. Stuart Lee, I love Stuart Lee is from UK, but I'm morely into like the kind of comedy I do. If it is mostly other than Doug and Bill Burr, it's like mostly I'm influenced by the black comedy scene in America, like Richard Pryor or like Patrice and Eddie, all of them, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, that's interesting. You brought this up to my attention that they're all white, even though like we have some good like Iranian American comedians as well. How do you see the comedy scene in Toronto? In Canada, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it is good. I'll tell you the best part of it. Best part of Toronto comedy scene is it is diverse.
Mm-hmm.
When like in comedy scene, whenever you go to any part of the world, any city, you will see the similar pattern every comic has in the same city. Like if you go to New York, most of the comedian in New York sounds little similar. Like they will sound little Dave Attell or like Norm kind of vibe, or like Sam Morrill type of. Everybody has similar kind of thing. Similarly, Austin comics will sound like everybody will sound racist and says
Yeah.
so in India also, southern part of the comedians would sound a certain way. North, everybody had similarity, but like because Toronto is so multiracial and mixed culture, nobody has similar kind of voice. Everybody has different voice, different story to tell. So that is a good part. I guess the bad part is it's not a comedy city.
Yeah, of course.
People don't go to watch it, which is sad because you guys have some good comedians out here. A lot of good comedians came from here, and but yeah, nobody goes to comedy scene. Like when you go to, I did a headlining yesterday. I had a lineup show. I was like, okay, I'm headlining a show in Toronto, and I put a story, and I show up to the open mic, and there was only one audience, and the audience was mine because he saw the Instagram story. So all these people had him hostage. All the other comedians got to try their joke, and I went to as a headliner. I went there to close, and I just closed it. Like, I'm sorry, buddy. Whatever happened with you, let's just call it a day. I can't. But yeah, that is sad. You know, the audience.
Yeah, I think that the problem with Canada is like we live next to the Hollywood, so every talent that we have, they just they want to make it big in Hollywood. So they don't stay here. And I think we're like absorbed by this like giantness of Hollywood. But let's go back to the moments that you mentioned. You wanted to give up comedy because of his because it was expensive and all. So how did you get through that moment and like that period?
It was crazy. I mean, no money is there. I was lying to my parents that I'm doing comedy, because if they didn't got to know that I'm doing comedy, they would have probably be like, come home. There's no way you can't do all this thing because we don't have money on this. This is for like rich people things and all. We can't afford to have this kind of dream, and it's stupid. Like, and logically that makes sense also. Like if I was my dad, I would say the same thing to my kid. Do not do this.
Mm.
This seems stupid. You will end up losing. You don't have money. You are. I was sharing a one room kitchen, which was a tiny, as small as this studio, with 3 dudes. So, and those 2 dudes are homophobic. I'm like, the fact that we are sharing a tiny room makes us gay, as more gay than the gay people, bro. But so around that time, no, I'm skipping lunch, and so it was crazy, and then I tried, like, okay, I can't do it. But whenever I tried to stop it, I ended up like, oh, this would be the last open mic, let me just go. And I would not go the next day, and then after 2 days later, I'm like, I have this $200, maybe I should just go to the open mic and try some new material. So the hunger for that validation, and that comic validation, and what do you call that, the dopamine spike you get on stage, it's very addictive. So like whenever I tried to like stop it, I couldn't quit. It's like I need that thing. Oh, that high. The high is insane. So yeah.
Interesting. I hope that I get to experience that one day. But anyways, I watched your special and it was amazing. I think everyone should go watch it. And there's this moment I think about a lot. So you're on stage and you're tearing into the whole edifice of caste privilege. But right after the punchline, there's this pause. And it's not like awkward silence. It's like a very dense moment, like heavy silence.
Yeah.
And people are like, should I laugh? Should I, like, how am I supposed to feel right now? It's like they're just realizing that they weren't watching from the outside. They were just in the system the whole time.
Yeah.
So what is your like purpose when you tell a joke? Like, what is that feeling that you want to leave the audience with?
So I'm a very selfish person as a comic. First of all, my audiences are all rich and upper-caste people, because I want them in my crowd. I don't want untouchable Dalits in my audience, for 2 reasons. One, why would they come and listen to their own story? Second, it's very expensive. They can't come.
Yeah.
They should not also. So I market it to the rich people first. Thing first, and the second is, my favorite thing about doing comedy is when I tell a joke and the audience are really uncomfortable, but they're laughing and clapping, because if they don't do it, then they would look like a bigot. So it's just that the humanness in them, that the embarrassment of them, that, oh, he's talking about us, but I have to clap so that I can hide my like reality, that I am not the person you are talking about. So, and the fact is, I am on stage, I have a mic, and I can see directly on your eyes how you are reacting. It makes me like feel really good, that I have. You noticed, like, a lot of places in my special, I laughed after taking a pause, because in that pause I'm just looking at the audience, and it is so funny how uncomfortable these people are, but still they're laughing. So that is my goal mostly in my special, is when they go when they're it is again, what do you call, Patrice O'Neill had said it, like a comedian's job, a comedy show's job should be 50% of the people laughing, 50% of the people horrified, like what did I just saw. So of course, I'm inspired by that. On top of it, like the fact that when they are listening to my joke, they should be in a dilemma whether I'm this is funny, but why should I should not laugh at this. That gives me the kick. And when they're leaving, they go home, they're like, okay, he was talking about this one. And when they're doing regular work and all, and they see what I was talking about in my comedy show. Oh, I get a lot of like DMs like that. The thing you told about in the special, guess what? I saw it today and I realized what you're talking about, kind of thing. So that makes me happy, there's like
interesting. I'm trying to like make sense of these people who come to your show to watch you. So I mean, if they buy the tickets to your show, they're already kind of like progressive and open to the idea of that, like we might be the bad people, or is it like they're in this comedy club and you just happen to be one of the comics in that night?
It's two both. So of course there are people who feel oh my god, let me go, we are the better people. I have guilt. That like Savarna guilt, we call it, like how white guilt people have it, which is stupid because they don't realize they're the one who are very ignorant because they have guilt, you know. You know what I'm talking about in the North American, or you know the guilty white people. We have like guilty Savarna, so they come, of course, and they are the one who's uncomfortable the most because they ended up coming. They think that I'm gonna talk about government. I'm gonna talk shit about government or all these people. I'm like, government and all other people can talk about. Let me talk to you. How stupid you people are, and how you guys exploit people. So that is one category. Another category is they are just comedy fans, and on top and they see some Manjeet is doing something fresh, like you want to listen to some fresh joke which is like, or like some different caste jokes and all, something like that. So they're generally comedy fans. Then there are Manjeet fans. They just love me. And then there comes the white Savarna guild people.
And I love that you mentioned white guilt. So I'm just thinking, so I mean, the thing that usually happens with like developing countries is like they kind of like try to mirror the more developed countries, you know. So I'm guessing like because I see that in my country all the time, and like the trends that just pop up in the society, it's kind of like what was cool 10 years ago in the US or something.
Yeah.
So I mean, as you said, in the West, we have this like trend of like white people feeling guilty and just like even like hating their own culture and history because of like all the things that they've done. I mean, technically their ancestors have done.
Yeah.
So is it are rich Indians kind of like copying that trend that like I feel bad about my ancestors because of the caste system, or like I guess my end goal with this question would be, did that change anything realistically with regard to like how people treat untouchable people?
The fact is, the moment you have guilt, you eradicate the conversation of the factual conversation. You know, the moment you have guilt, you are meant to say that, oh, I said sorry, I'm sorry. Now I should have the license to be ignorant, right? So like, so that cuts the conversation altogether. The moment you say sorry, there is no conversation between me and the oppressor. Like, so it's like the people with TW, you know, the people want trigger warning on every Instagram post nowadays because they don't want to indulge in that. So like put trigger warning so that I can avoid those things. I don't need sadness in my life and forced kind of thing, right? So what happens with like people will guilt in India, they are there because of course it is a thing less acknowledged, and everybody these people and all, they're bad, so I'm sorry about my caste. We don't believe in caste, we don't see caste, we don't acknowledge caste. That kind of bullshit is also there. And in the name of intersectionality it comes, which I hate the most, because they would just acknowledge it for the guilt of it. But when it comes to the work to be done for the oppressed community, they would not even indulge in that. Like, let me give you a couple of examples. One is, these people would ask for fight for equal pay and feminism, which I'm up for it. But they're the same people who would have maid in their house whom they treat horribly, and they don't give them minimum pay wage. Aren't she a woman too? Oh, just because she's Dalit, you don't even consider her as a woman, I guess. They're the same people who would not talk about the Manrega, where all the Dalit women works, like pregnant women works in sun and all, and they don't even get minimum pay, and they are not even part of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, how do you call yourself a feminist and all? Because just because it's a trend in the West world, right? And then there's so many examples I will just keep on giving, like the LGBT pride is a big there. I'm all very up for it. And they also talk about intersectionality in India, like, oh, let's put Jai Bhim, and like, oh, then Dalit people have it hard, and Dalit LGBT community people are all this struggling and all. But when it comes to a horizontal reservation was demanded, like people were demanding horizontal reservation for the trans Dalit people. The protest didn't have half the people how many protest people come out the pride walk, so like how do how do you expect me to see your good in you, like the intention when it is all about yourself, you want to because the pride month is happening because you want to do it. You are not you are adding Dalit people just because of the name, because the numbers will be bigger. And like you want to do the equal pay, you want me to as a straight male Manjeet Sarkar support us in equal pay, but you also want to just equal pay in air condition and all these places, but you will keep all the Dalit people, Dalit women out of conversation. Why would I be there? My mom, you are not including my mom in that conversation. I would not want to be that part of that conversation. So that those are the things. So the fact that they solely copy everything, the trend that America and like America mostly has, it is toxic. It is sad to see, because everything in terms of like the mental health situation in India, they feel that India and America are the same, because the therapists mostly are there for rich people. Poor people don't even know what mental health means. We don't even have it. So rich people go, upper caste people go. If I go to a therapist, if I say my problems, she would not even know what my problem, my traumas, because she would not. It's like she comes from the oppressor caste, so she would not relate. She would relate to the person who has given me trauma. Like all the people who bullied me in school are studying psychology to be a therapist. Like, what are you talking about, bro?
Yeah, I'm just trying to like understand the cultural ecosystem of India. So if a celebrity like says something offensive about caste or like Dalit people, will they get canceled? Do you guys have cancel culture?
Oh no, cancel culture. So people need to understand. Cancel culture in every country is the people who are in authority. Like the people in Canada, the left is in authority, so they will cancel you. Like legit cancel. Like in Twitter cancel, I don't even consider it. And America, right will cancel you right now for sure. They will deport you. But in India, the cancel culture is solely for the right wing, and it comes to when it about the caste. If somebody says anything very exclusive about caste and all, we have something called SCST Act, which was thank God Baba Sahab, like Ambedkar had written that constitution, and they given proper rights to us. And there is one particular section called SCST Act, which we can put on anyone if somebody says anything, all this thing. But mostly nothing happens. Like the hate crimes are like numbers, in like 5 hate crimes a day kind of things. On top of it, so many are not even reported because of they're scared of the people. If they report the police complaint, then they will kill them more and all. So police don't even come. Like people go to police station. The one Dalit girl was sexually abused, and he went to police station to file a complaint, and the police themselves has raped her multiple times. So like why would they go and file a complaint at the first place?
Yeah.
So there is those cancel culture is beyond Dalits. Like the conversation hasn't hit there. We are pretty much far behind.
Has anyone canceled you?
They can't. They can dream about it. I mean, they can't cancel me until I want to be cancelled. What they would the biggest way they can cancel is a comedian is not coming to the show. So if, on Instagram, Twitter, and all, a lot of people must have said so a lot of things and all, but they can't cancel me. The cancel is very they take this word so for granted, and I guess America again started it like, oh, cancel you, a PC culture and all. It's not that easy. Cancel means your entire food, bread and butter will be gone, and you can only cancel comedians, artists and all who are under a big label, a company and all working, so they lose their job and all. I'm not big enough to be cancelled, I guess. I mean, you can cancel Kevin Hart because he is under so many
contracts with like all these big studios. Yeah.
That's why you can't cancel Chappelle, because that guy is individual. I know that guy says so many stupid shit. I can't tell you, bro. Like last special, I couldn't even defend him. But yeah.
But what type of pushbacks do you get?
I get pushback from equally from every community. I'll give you an example. Last time I came to Toronto for my movie screening, right before I came to Toronto, 5 days back, I had like insane amount of massive attack on my Twitter, on online. Like every time I was just doing a scroll down and I was getting like 10 notifications on Twitter, bro. Every tweet is like, your mom is a hoe, like rape threats, death threats.
Why?
Death threats. And I had a joke. The joke goes, my girlfriend is Brahmin, and every time she's like, let me be on top while having sex. I'm like, just because I'm Dalit. Oppress me like that, right? And then followed by like, and this was a reporter who had asked me to do a Dalit joke, and I was like, what the fuck is a Dalit joke? You oppress that too, and I ended up doing it. And then she like wrote it also. Now million of people are just reading, a Dalit comedian never let his girlfriend be on top. I'm like, horrible boyfriend. I'm anti-caste and anti-orgasm now, it seems, So that was the joke. It was fucking funny, right? But these people took it so. How can you, of a filthy Dalit, can speak about being intimate with a Brahmin girl? So there's so many tweets. I can't tell. I had a police complaint. A lawyer from Supreme Court of India in Delhi. She filed a case against me saying this famous Dalit comedian is talking about being intimate with a Brahmin girl. I mean, I can't. And I'm talking about my girl. I can't even be intimate with my girlfriend because she's Upper-Caste. So I had so many threats. I can't even, like, that was my biggest online attack on me that I had. And because it was new for me, I couldn't sleep for days. And I was sleepless because I was scared. What if, like, I was getting night terrors, like somebody is coming and banging the doors and shit like that. So the moment I came to Toronto, I felt good. Like, then I put a post that I'm doing a show here. There also, like, they were tagging random people or make sure this show doesn't happen. So we had to come get some volunteers and all these things, so it goes smoothly. Then
this time or last time?
Last time it was. This time was a different people. So after that, I upload a bunch of 2 reels about left people in India. How the left people are the most ignorant and stupid people in India, because they're rich and privileged. They don't consider, like, they speak in a language that poor people would never understand. In India, left and Marxism is accessible to rich people only, or privileged people. Poor people can't read thus Marx, thus capital, they can't read all this thing, and they don't have the access to it. And all the left people is, apparently they call themselves, they are working for poor people, but the kind of jargon they use, they only speak in English. They have a elite group. They wear all the kurta and all to look humble, but they are not. They're always talking about Marx, but they're not talking to the poor people, what is their problem and all. So when I said that out, and also, like, they don't know anything other than Marx. And like, Marx, what is your opinion? If I have to talk to Marx, I'll read this Capital, right? What you have to say? So when I put that out, I had like massive attack by left people. In India, left and right wing people, they are the same. It's just the left people have better English. Since they have better grammar, that's it. And on top, on that video also, I got like massive attack by left people. And then I uploaded a video about feminism, Savarna feminism, Pseudo-Feminism, which I called in India, where all in India equal pay, as I mentioned, all the rich people are the one who talks about equal pay, and they never include the Dalits, which I don't consider equal pay, and all the feminists, Savarna feminists, upper-caste feminists got so offended. You are a man, you are a woman hater. I'm like, how can I, bro? Like, do you hear what I'm saying? So, and this is a new one. I started getting hate recently. So one reel I uploaded, it got 1 million in a day from North Indian people. They're just getting hate and hate. I guess more right-wing people. Do not talk about our cow, mother. Just, yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to go back to the moment you mentioned this interviewer asking you to tell a Dalit joke. I was going to ask, like, in India, is there like a defined form of like writing jokes about Dalit people? Like, if you want to write comedy material for like Dalit people, this is the stereotype, this is the structure you follow, this is how you portray them.
Yeah, every country, every community have their stereotypes, right? So if somebody wants to do it, they can definitely do it, but they don't talk about caste, period. They don't touch the topic, but like they indirectly, a lot of comedians make fun of Dalits and all because it's easy punch time and all, and because they are castes themselves, right? They can't help it. But I get to hear a lot of punch down Dalit hateful jokes by comedians on my face because in the name of comedy, you can just do it. But the fact is, I really always hope, I don't mind like casteist joke or racist joke until it is funny. If you do a racist joke or casteist joke and if it is not funny, then you will lose my respect as a human being and as a comedian altogether. If the joke is actually good, then I'll be like, you are a shitty human being but a good comedian, you know. So so it happens, like, but like nobody touched caste on stage other than me. So
yeah, I'm still thinking about what you said, that like you're equally hated by left and right, and I think that's so interesting because you know, as a person of minority, it's like you feel like you have some allies or like enemies, you know, just because you're part of that community. So I guess I don't know, like if there was a world where like the caste oppression just ended, like there was no caste oppression anymore, what would that mean for your comedy? Like if you couldn't just talk about caste anymore?
Oh, then I'll do comedy about how amazing my life is. Everything
Post-Caste.
Yeah, right. Like how amazing! Oh my God, the caste is not there. I'm living my life. I'll start talking about Tinder, I guess.
Yeah.
I'll start talking about all stupid things, I guess. I don't know. Another thing, left and right people hate me equally because I don't like them equally. Because it's left and right both oppressed and oppressed the Dalit community. So how can I be in either of the side? These people are equally horrible. They're just upper caste left, upper caste rich for me. They're not our left or right for me.
Yeah. But do you feel like pressure that you have to talk about caste just because you're from Dalit communities?
Not at all. I can talk about, like, maybe in my next special I won't talk about caste at all. I talk about whatever I feel like. I did not talk about caste because I had an agenda. Because the moment you have an agenda, you can't be funny in comedy. It's like what you feel like saying it. You have craft, good. Next, what are you? Like, what your life that makes it funny. Like, I didn't have any other story to tell other than my caste. Because any story I said, it determined that story, like what kind of life I lived through caste. So I couldn't leave caste out of conversation. So that's why I did caste, because if I didn't have that lived experience, maybe I would have talked something about something. Because if I was a Dalit, how like there are a few Dalits who are well-to-do for family, maybe I would have done a different kind of. I come from a extremely poor background. Like I went to school for midday meal. I didn't have food to eat when I was a kid. If I had those privileges, maybe my jokes would have been different. because I lived those experience, my jokes. And now that I'm from couple of years, I'm killing it. I'm doing enough. I have decent money. I'm traveling and all. My jokes will change. My observation, my experience are changing. My surrounding are changing. So I'll talk about something different.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, because in my mind I was like, how do you balance the like Manjeet the human being and Manjeet survivor of caste oppression? And because I don't know, like it's like when you're a female scientist and instead of just talking about your research, you just constantly have to talk about sexism in science.
Yeah, right.
That's just like, let me talk about my own.
See me as a scientist.
Yeah, exactly.
On top of it, like maybe celebrate the fact that I'm killing it. If you have to talk about sexism, all this thing, do it yourself and celebrate the fact that I'm killing it here.
Yeah.
You don't have to have me as a conversation like all about, oh, see Manjeet Caste and all that. That is mostly done by people who want to like a lot of in India comedians say that I'm doing sorry, identity comedy and shit like that, which because it is easy to hate me by doing that, but it's easy when you label something, then you reduce the number of audience potential because you create biasness in the audience head. Oh, this guy is doing identity comedy. He does, but it does caste comedy. Maybe he will be like this. So they already create biases so that you cut the business out of me. So the most of the comedians in India talk does them, and Manjeet does identity comedy and all. Who doesn't do identity comedy? You talk about your fucking cab driver experience. That is your identity. You talk about you being an engineer, IT. Oh my God, techie. I'm a techie. That is your identity. Like if I talk about cars, that is my identity. I will like what else I'll talk about. Like it's stupid. But yeah, they would not. They do it because that's how they want you to see that they are not the same capabilities. The sexism conversation are created around it without knowing that when you do that, that female scientist maybe feel different from the other scientist because she's not a scientist anymore. You're just putting a label on her.
Yeah, exactly. Are there parts of caste that you just decide not to joke about? You just leave it out from your material?
I think there is nothing that I don't want. I don't say that I don't want to like. Sorry, I'll say it again. There is nothing that is there that I spare. If I want to talk about something, I would talk about something. Doesn't matter what that is, but lot of things that doesn't interest me. Like a lot of comedians talk about the government and all. It doesn't interest me to talk about government. I feel that is easy, and also I don't like the government, all this thing, but I don't blame the government. I blame the citizen to elect the government. So I like to talk about how horrible the citizens are. That you guys suck. Like a government representative, like a pool of people. So I see no point of criticizing the government. So those kind of thing I keep out. I don't criticize government. I don't talk about government much and all. I like to talk about the people, how horrible they are.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Manjeet. I really enjoyed. Last question. Recommend me some great movies.
Great movies. I guess the best first thing you should start watching is Apu trilogy. By Satyajit Ray, an Indian director. The first part is Pothir Pachali, which came in 1956. It got a 10-minute standing ovation in Cannes. His debut movie. And I can talk about him for like hours, but I'll sum it up. Satyajit Ray. Second movie is Apurjito. Third movie is Apur Sanshar. It's a beautiful trilogy by him. He's one of our only director, like the best director we had. Like he ended up having a lifetime achievement from Oscar. He has another movie called Mahanagar. Please watch it. The way it talks about the women empowerment and the casual sexism in the work industry still holds true, and it was made in back in 1970 or something like that. And another movie is Mahanayak by the same guy.
Great. I'll overlay the posters on the video.
Yes, perfect.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Have a good day. All the listeners, yes, this is Manjeet again. You should follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is MANJEET_S.
I'll put the link in the description. No worries.
Best, yeah. Link in the description, and also here you can see the Manjeet Sarkar. Follow. Thank you. Bye.
Okay.